Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Emily and this is the start of another writing vlog, an exciting one where I am going to experiment a little bit with dictating my web novel, In Dying Starlight. In Dying Starlight is a series of novellas about a cyborg bounty hunter and his talking badger companion who take on the worst job in existence and chaos ensues. I've only ever experimented with dictating my work a couple times in the past and I never really liked it. I could never match up the words coming out of my mouth with the words that I wanted on screen, and for some reason it is so much easier to type. Though the other day while drafting I was curious and did discover that Scrivener, which is the program that I write in, Scrivener does take dictation if you turn on the dictation mode on your Mac. I have no idea how to do it for Windows, but I turned it on my Mac and I used like the microphone on my headphones. It works so well. I wrote 800 words of dictation in like 15 minutes or something, 20 minutes. I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention. It is both very awkward to try to just write while speaking and also very, very cool. So I wanted to try a little experiment and try dictating In Dying Starlight. I'm working on novella number 4 for the next couple of days and sort of compare the process and the word output and how I feel about it creatively with how I feel about, just the regular process of typing. I'm not going to be dictating everything over the next couple of days because I'm only going to do that when other people aren't in the room listening to me talking, because if my parents are in the house and they can hear me, I can't do that. No one gets to listen to me speak my really awful rough draft. It's not gonna happen. Just for word count reference, I tend to write about 1,000 to 2,000 words an hour. 2,000 words an hour is my top word count. If everything is planned out perfectly and I know exactly where I'm going and I'm just drafting at full speed, 2,000 words is about my top word count. I usually do a little bit more than 1,000. So thank you for joining me for another vlog. Let's get right into the experiment because I have lots of drafting on In Dying Starlight 4 to do. That's a half an hour in. It's now 3:30 and that's 900 words. And probably a great deal of typos. So many typos. There's an uncomfortable silence, comma, and I don't really feel like breaking it, period. Several of the patrons who had jumped out of their chairs during the scuffle start slowly filtering back into their seats, comma, casting us nervous glances, period. Let's chat about initial thoughts. So I ended up only narrating for about 40 minutes yesterday. In those 40 minutes, I got about 1,200 words. That's a nice number. It's a little slower, I think, than what my top speed would be typing, but I'm really not used to it at this point, so that's actually very good for what little I was expecting. You should probably expect to at least do an editing pass if you decide to dictate, because at least with my computer and just whatever software is installed on the Mac, it does not understand everything you say. Even if you don't like editing as you go, I would go through and do just like a typo fixing pass, because it will say some weird things that I have no idea why it put those words in the sentence and actually thought it was a sentence. Going through what you have narrated and fixing anything that doesn't make sense while you still remember what you were trying to do is probably a smart idea. One thing I have come up with is that saying open quote and close quote definitely is a big pain, and that throws me off more than anything else. I was just sitting with my laptop on my lap and I had my finger on like the close quote, open quote key, so I could just hit it and then talk and then hit it closed. And I found that was much quicker than trying to say new line, open quote, then say the sentence and then say the punctuation and then say close quote. Close quote. Interestingly enough, because I had some of the stranger names for my characters like Zane and Lalia saved into Scrivener, I told Scrivener to learn those names. It was perfectly fine with me saying those words. 100% did those names correctly. I was shocked. On the other hand, even though I have had Scrivener learn the name Amarov for a planet, it will not give me Amarov correctly on screen, no matter what. It puts in some weird word I've never seen before with like an apostrophe. Another truly bizarre thing it does is if you say open quote for the start of new dialogue, it will not capitalize that first word in the sentence of dialogue, which is not a big deal. That's very easy to fix. It's just bizarre to me because there are very few circumstances where like an open quote on a new sentence shouldn't be capitalized. So that's the technical stuff. All in all, not too bad. I haven't found it too difficult overall transitioning from like what my brain does while typing to what my brain does while narrating. It's pretty much very similar in that it's just I'm thinking through the scene like it's a movie in my head and either typing or saying the words that I would type. Sometimes I'm pretty slow when talking because it's almost like the time that typing would take me allows me to think through the sentence better. So when I'm talking, I'll start a sentence and then realize I don't know where I'm going with it and go, ah. A bit like talking to the camera. There are bloopers. One other thing I noticed is I have to be a bit more careful while I'm narrating because I tend to put more filler words, saying unnecessarily long sentences. Like, I find the words he's saying are really annoying instead of just saying he's annoying, you know, and I'll just go back and I'll realize that it's too long and I'll fix it. And those are relatively easy fixes. So again, not a big deal, but I'll just find myself inserting like 2 or 3 words more of context than is necessary, and so I have to trim that back down. It is also just very awesome to speak a long paragraph and then just watch it sort of write itself in extremely quickly. So I'm going to try more narration today on In Dying Starlight before I get all distracted and mixed up in my head with trying to plot 2 different things at once. We'll see how the quality is and we'll see how the word count is today now that I have more time than just 40 minutes. Okay, it's day 2 of giving this whole narration thing a shot. I will say that since I'm heavily rewriting and editing the first part of book 4, I do have the old draft of book 4 up right alongside, and some of it I'm taking over, and even the stuff I'm not taking over, I basically have a really detailed outline, so that definitely helps. But even though that is there to help, I definitely get the feeling that as long as I have a detailed outline for what I'm doing, I think I could replicate this speed and decent accuracy when I'm just drafting completely with no, older book to go along next to it. This go around, I just skipped doing the quotation marks altogether. I just did new lines for each thing of dialogue. And when I go back and do my pass to make sure all the sentences are actual sentences and there's no gibberish, I'll just put in any missing dialogue punctuation tags. Yeah, 1 hour and 20 minutes for 4,000 words. I'm going to see how long it takes me now to just do a pass through that 4,000 words and make sure there's no gibberish. If this 4,000 words I've narrated is decent while I'm going through with it, I'm gonna narrate so much more often. This is great. Okay, I'm gonna keep this clip short and sweet because nobody's in the house right now, so I want to use the quiet time to do more narration. But yesterday was day 3 of the whole narration experiment. The first 10 minutes I got 400 words. The next 45 minutes I got 1,900 words. The next 35 minutes I got 2,200 words. This is why that author guy Chris Fox says that writing 5,000 words an hour is a thing if you narrate. I was shocked. And again, it probably is a little bit easier because I have the old draft to like mentally lean back on. A few more things to add that I've learned real quick is, 1, this is hilarious to me. I'm narrating In Dying Starlight from Aaron's point of view. So it's first person point of view. So it's him, thinking about the rest of the world. I have on multiple occasions when he's thinking about Zane, one of the other characters, instead of saying things like I looked at him and blah blah blah, a couple of times I said I looked at you and blah blah blah. It's hilarious to me. I was super in the character's head. And like the first time I found that when I was going back and fixing up typos, I thought maybe it was the computer doing it and just like I hadn't pronounced the word him correctly or something. But I did it several times. I did it 3 or 4 times within the space of a couple thousand words. And I don't think the words him and you are close enough that was the computer making the mistake. I think that was me. The other thing I have learned is that even though, I was only writing for about 1.5 hours yesterday, I felt like I had written those 4,000 words. That 1.5 hours, which is not a very long writing session for me, I can write for lots of hours at a time, that felt like mentally enough. I have my various liquids, water, coffee. Okay, let's do some narrating. I'm so happy about this. Okay, I did 65 minutes worth of writing sprints and got about 3,500 words. I'm happy with that. That is gonna be my In Dying Starlight word count for the day. I was right. There's definitely a lot more burnout in a shorter amount of time. But then again, that's perfectly fine because 3,500 words in an hour. Okay, what a week. I believe I left you off on day 4 on this vlog. I've done 4 more days of dictation since then. Some days I've just been typing, but day 5 I did 30 minutes worth of sprints for 1,700 words. I was feeling a little slow that day. Day 6 I did 90 minutes worth of sprints for 4,700 words. I ended up writing 300 more words that day and got to 5,000. Day number 7 was 55 minutes worth of sprints and 2,300 words. And day number 8, which was a couple days ago, I was not really feeling it, and it was a 20-minute word sprint and I got 900 words. Today is going to be the last day of this little challenge because today I'm going to write the last few scenes for In Dying Starlight 4. Yeah. Once I get off the camera here, I'm going to be narrating. If I don't get enough quiet time to do it all with narration, I will just type out the rest, but I'm going to finish the book today. So I won't yammer on too much. I'm gonna finish this book and we can talk about final stats and final thoughts. All right, for day 9 yesterday, I only ended up doing about 15 minutes worth of writing sprints because the house was not quiet afterwards, and as we have established, I'm not narrating my rough draft where other people can hear me. But that 15 minutes got me 550 words. I ended up writing 3,300 words yesterday and finished novella number 4, which took a lot more rewriting than I expected. I thought this story was going to be mostly editing, a little bit of rewriting. It was like 90% a rewrite, but if it improves it, it improves it, so I'm not going to complain. I'm going to show you the little chart that I kept for this dictation experiment, but it comes out to a total of 8 hours and 5 minutes worth of writing time over the 9 days and 23,350 words dictated in that 8 hours and 5 minutes. Hello, Editing Emily here. I just wanted to take this moment to mention, I forgot to say, this novella number 4 is 35,000 words. I never correctly estimate how long a story is going to be. This is the longest one. Good grief. So that brings us to the end of this dictation experiment because now I have to get on to editing this novella and fixing the couple chapters where I didn't go through for typos because I'm not smart. To sum up, I don't think dictating is going to take over my whole writing process. Like I said yesterday, I wrote most of my word count yesterday just by typing it. There's still a very satisfying aspect to typing it out, and it is such a slightly different process that it's still a process that's different enough that I enjoy it in a different way than I enjoy dictating. But going forward, I definitely think I'm going to do some sort of mixture, definitely when I'm drafting a rough draft, because rough drafts are just supposed to be fun and they're not supposed to be good. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm curious to hear if anybody else has ever tried dictating or if that's the way you write most of your stories. I know there are authors out there who just write their entire rough drafts by dictating. I would be very interested. If you have any tips, I would be very interested. If you would love to help out my channel by boosting it in the algorithm, giving this video a thumbs up, and giving me a subscribe, really helps. You can read In Dying Starlight for free online. I update on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. My short story collection, All the Woods She Watches Over, is available on KU, Kindle Unlimited, and in paperback. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!